I beg your pardon, sir? You all right, sir?
Yes, what?
I thought you spoke.
Shouldn't you be going? When I give you the night off, I do intend it to be the night off.
Well, sir, if you're sure.
Of course, of course.
I really am most grateful, sir. My sister's giving a small party for the parents. It's their golden wedding.
Milson, I already know.
Yes, sir.
If you don't leave at once, you'll be late for the festivities.
Yes, sir. Well, you will manage, sir?
Milson, I'm going to dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Jack Trent, and I think I can just manage to do that without your help.
Yes, sir. Well, if you'll excuse me, the fog has come down, and it's a good stretch to the Angel.
Take a cab.
Oh, no, sir. I couldn't.
Oh, come on, I insist. If you hadn't stayed behind to dress the baby, you would already be there.
Thank you, sir. Most generous.
Now off you go.
Yes, sir. Good night, sir.
The red signal. Why tonight of all nights?
Still foggy?
I'm afraid so, sir.
I'd much rather stay here.
Yes, sir. Perhaps I could telephone Mr. and Mrs. Trent and say that on account of the inclement weather...
No, I must go. It isn't entirely a social call. Which reminds me, should Dr. Hodson telephone, you may tell him where to find me.
I quite understand.
I must admit the thought of a seance makes the heart sink.
That'll be Charleston with the card.
I shouldn't be late, but I have my latchkey in case you want to retire early. No point both of us suffering in the call of duty.
I shall, of course, remain up until your return, Sir Elliot.
There you are, McKern. I'm not too early, I hope.
Mr. Trent is in the drawing room, madam.
Violet? You look ravishing.
Because I am, Jack. What a beastly night. Thank you, McKern.
Come along in.
I am the first. How sordid.
Well, that's because you had the furthest to come. A dry martini?
Should one, before a spiritual experience?
Why ever not? Spirit to spirits. I've already had two.
Is this where Mrs. Thing will perform?
Thompson. Mrs. Thompson.
What a very ordinary name for a medium.
Well, I believe she's a very ordinary woman.
But with extraordinary gifts. Marion Partridge has twice spoken to Bertie through her.
Poor Bertie. And he went to such lengths to escape from Marion.
Jack, you are wicked. I swear if you don't take this whole thing seriously, I shall be very cross. I believe in it implicitly. Where's Claire?
Oh, taking her time, as usual. Do you mind if I hurry her?
Of course. I'm perfectly happy left snooping in anybody's house.
If you find anything exciting, do let me know. I'm afraid we lead a very dull life.
People who live in Mayfair are not allowed to be dull. Tell Claire if she's wearing my colour, I shall send her straight upstairs to change again.
Told you before not to play with knives. He could cut you.
Jack, I found it.
Then I must make sure that you don't find it again. It'll be safe in there. Shall we go down? Violet's already here. many locks in this house. All set? Perfect evening for a seance. Thick fog and Violet Eversley.
Poor Violet. You mustn't be beastly about her. She's one of our closest friends.
Yours, my love. My best friend is dear old Dermot. It really is time he married. Do you think Violet would suit? But then, perhaps not.
No?
We'd never marry a divorcee, darling. Don't you agree? Far too upright.
It isn't every evening one can go to a séance. I think it thrilling. They say that women have a sixth sense. Perhaps that's why so many of us are mediums. Do you think that true, Sir Allington?
It depends what is meant by sixth sense. There is so much nonsense talked.
Oh, pooh, you scientific men are always so severe. Is your uncle always like this, Mr. West?
I rarely see him in company, Mrs. Eversley. In fact, I didn't even know you were acquainted.
You may be my nephew, but you do not know all my acquaintance.
Apparently not.
It's the after-dinner entertainment that's the real attraction. Isn't that so, Sir Allington?
It's true that I very rarely go out in the evenings. My day is taken up with consultations. I need time to myself.
Yes, McCann.
There is a telephone call for Sir Allington, madam. Dr. Hodgson, sir.
As you see, I seldom get it. If you'll excuse me.
You're surprised to find your uncle here.
I certainly am. In social terms, he's practically a recluse. I didn't think he knew about human beings, just cases.
He's in for a dull evening, isn't he? Unless Mrs. Thompson turns out to be raving mad. Of course, it could be you he's worried about. Claire, Dermot wants to know why Sir Allington is here.
I don't care why he's here. I'm just thrilled that he is. All that authority. I do hope he isn't being called away or anything like that. Claire, does this Mrs. Thompson use a Ouija board or a crystal ball?
Oh, nothing like that.
Oh, what a pity.
Jack, old boy, why is he here?
Jack, my glass is empty too.
Not all my patients are lunatic, Mrs. Eversley.
I stand corrected.
Do you suppose there is anything in what people call sixth sense?
Absolute bunkum, old love. Your best friend is killed in a railway accident. Straight away, you remember that you dreamt of a black cat last Tuesday. Marvelous. You felt all along that something was going to happen.
No, you're mixing up premonitions with intuition. Come, Sir Allington, surely you admit the premonitions are real.
Perhaps, but I'm damned if I know what they are. Oh, I beg your pardon. We scientific men, as you call us, Mrs. Eversley, have constantly to be on our guard against coincidence. And there's the invariable tendency to make the most of a story afterwards. We scientists cannot rely upon such frail evidence. We must research and verify. We take no person's word for anything.
So, you scientific chaps rely heavily on personal observation, is that it?
De temps en temps. After all, it's only natural we should want proof, shall we say?
I don't think there is any such thing as premonition or intuition or sixth sense or any of the things we've been talking about so glibly. We go through life like a train rushing through the darkness to some unknown destination.
Oh, come on, old love. Even a train rushing through the night isn't entirely in the dark. There are signals to follow.
The signals, how odd.
What did you say?
Oh, I can see what Jack is getting at. The signals.
Green if it's all right, red for danger.
Red for danger, how thrilling.
No, not exactly that. It's more vague, insubstantial.
Dear boy, you speak as though from actual experience.
Oh, it is. Or has been.
Oh, do tell us, Mr. West.
It's a very boring story.
I'm sure
Come on,
it isn't.
Dermot, come on.
Well, it was out in Mesopotamia just after the armistice. I came into my tent one evening and saw it.
So what?
The red signal.
Danger, look out.
Now, I hadn't a ghost of an idea what it was all about. I made a round of the camp, fussed unnecessarily. I took all precautions against an attack by hostile Arabs. And then I went back to my tent, and as soon as I got inside, I had the feeling again, only stronger. No, it wasn't a feeling. I saw it. Yes, somehow I saw it. The red signal. In the end, I took my blanket outside, rolled up in it, and slept there.
And?
Well, the following morning, when I went back to the tent, you must remember this, Jack, a whopping great knife stuck through my bunk just where I should have been.
I remember. Wasn't one of the Arab servants to blame?
Oh, it was never proved. His son had been shot as a spy. It was thought he held me responsible, but, anyway, that's an example of what I call the red signal.
Well, Sir Allington.
Very interesting story, damn it. Now, why, I wonder, have you never told it me before?
Perhaps because I doubted you would believe it, Uncle.
And do you, Sir Allington?
I'm sure my nephew had a premonition of danger, just as he says. But where did it come from? Might I suggest the subconscious?
Oh, the good old subconscious. Blame for everything these days, isn't it?
I suggest that some glance or look from this Arab had already betrayed him. Your conscious self did not notice it, Dermot, but your subconscious self picked it up, believed that an attempt might be made to assassinate you, and succeeded in forcing its fear on your conscious realization.
Well, sounds convincing.
But not nearly so exciting.
It's also possible that you were subconsciously aware of the hate felt towards you by this man.
Oh, Sir Allington, don't be so analytical.
My dear Mrs. Eversley, how can I help being? That is, after all, my profession.
Yes, but we're not your patients. We're not your loonies.
Have there been any other instances, Dermot?
One or two, but nothing so pictorial.
Recently?
No, not until,
Oh, don't stop there. Not until what?
No, I was merely going to say...
And a lot of poppycock it is, my dear boy.
Exactly.
Well, I believe in your red signals, Mr. West. I really do. Don't you, Jack?
Oh, I'm with Sir Allington. A little too fanciful for me. More wine about it.
Oh, do you think I should? I want to be sober for the speaks. People we know.
But what is madness, Mrs. Eversley? What is meant by it? I can assure you, the more we study the subject, the more difficult we find it to pronounce. We all carry a certain amount of self-deception. But if we carry it so far as to believe that we're Tsar of all the Russias, then we're shut up or restrained. But there's a long road before we reach that point. At what particular spot on it should we erect a post and say, on this side sanity, on this side madness? It can't be done, you know. And I would tell you this. If a person suffering from delusion happens not to tell, we should never be able to distinguish him or her from a perfectly normal individual.
Are you all right, Mrs. Trent?
Yes, thank you. We mustn't be too long. Mrs. Thompson is due soon.
Oh, just a moment, Claire. It isn't every day that one can sit at the feet of an expert. Go on, Sir Allington. You're in full speed.
Experts can be crashing bores at dinner tables.
Oh, please.
I was simply saying, madam, that the extraordinary sanity of the insane can be a most interesting subject.
I've heard that they can be very cunning. Loonies, I mean.
Remarkably so. And suppression of one's particular delusion has a disastrous effect very often.
Oh, come on, everyone, own up. I have a sneaking delusion that I'm Lady Godiva. But only in the middle of a heat wave.
Not a matter for jokes, Mrs. Eversley. All suppressions are dangerous. The man who has a harmless eccentricity and can indulge it as such very seldom goes over the borderline. But the man or woman who, to all appearances, is perfectly normal, may in reality be a source of great danger.
To whom?
To the community. Perhaps even to their nearest and dearest.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, darling. There's no harm done.
Well, how terrible. And all from suppressing oneself. Which only goes to show that one must be very careful to express one's personality. Fortunately, I have very little difficulty on that score.
My dear Mrs. Eversley, you insist on misunderstanding.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sir Allington. I didn't go to university. I am trying.
The cause of the mischief is in the physical matter of the brain, sometimes arising out of some outward agency, such as a blow, sometimes, alas, congenital.
Heredity is so sad. Consumption and things.
Tuberculosis is not hereditary.
I'm sorry. I thought it was. But madness is. How dreadful.
Should we...
Really,
I'm
my
so
darling?
sorry.
You're all of a twitch tonight.
It's the spooks to come, I swear. Come along, Claire. Let's leave the men to their port.
One glass and we'll be with you.
My dear ladies, you must forgive me. I've had a splendid evening, even if I had bored the rest of you to distraction.
Well, it isn't over yet, Sir Allington. There's still the reason for your visit.
The reason?
Mrs. Thompson and her renowned gift of contacting the spirits.
I hope you don't analyze her, Sir Allington. She'll get one of the dear departed
That
on.
isn't the real reason, is it? For God's sake, Jack, why can't you trust me?
The trouble with old bluffers like me is that we cannot resist holding forth on our pet subjects.
Not at all.
But it is a serious subject, one to be faced.
Port, Sir Allington?
An affair of the heart. Such sadness. So much in the name of honor. There's love that cannot be spoken. If the person knows, well, it could be me.
Frederick Farley is distracted by me. On the other hand, he isn't here, and she can hardly expect me to pass on the message.
I can see a woman. Tall woman. She's very distressed. She knows someone here. She wants to tell them something. Does anyone recognize her?
You must give us more to go on.
She's very distressed. She died too soon. Somewhere warm.
Your mother died in India, Clarence.
But yes, India. It could be India. A sad woman. Sad for you. She fears for you. Yes, it is India. I know that now. She's wearing a long, white muslin dress.
Does she say anything?
She's sad for you, but she understands. She understands.
I'm dashed if I do.
Is there anyone there for me?
I am at their mercy. I'm sorry, the spirits are not there to be ordered. They come if they will. And...
Oh, God, she's off again.
No.
Who is it now?
I can see no one, no spirits, no one.
Oh, this is no good.
Don't go home. Don't go home. Don't. No, don't go home.
Who?
Don't go home. Danger. Blood. Fear and blood. Don't go home. Don't. No. Red. Not much blood, but enough. Don't go home.
Do we applaud?
What's the good of that? We don't even know who she was talking to.
Is it over?
That's all, I'm afraid. How long has it been?
3/4 of an hour.
Oh, not long, I'm sorry. I know how disappointing it can be. Was there anything?
Towards the end, you saw Mrs. Trent's mother in India.
Oh. And how did I know it was India?
Mr. Trent told you.
Oh, it's a pity. You see, we pick things up so quickly when we're in that state. Pity. If you told me, it's not trustworthy.
Indeed.
My dear Sir Allington, how you unbelievers love to find a flaw. But you must find that in your line of work as well. You deal with the subtle world, I with the spirit world. Both are implausible to the unenlightened. But was that all that took place?
That and the fact that none of us should go home, which is going to put a severe strain on the hospitality of our hosts.
I said that.
Danger and blood.
And all manner of mayhem.
Sudden death.
I beg your pardon?
It's gone now. But there's an atmosphere here. Has anybody died recently connected to any of you?
People dropping down like flies, left, right, and centre.
No, there is something. I wonder why you came, Sir Allington. Not to see me, I'm sure of that.
But are we to go home ever? I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Come dancing with us, Violet. We're off to the Grafton Galleries.
Violet is already invited, Jack.
Well, come 12 o'clock, it's a new day. I'm sure the curse won't last that long.
I'm sorry, but my role is to communicate, not to advise.
Well, I, for one, certainly am going home. I'm an old man, and old men turn into pumpkins at 12 o'clock. Mrs. Thompson, can I give you a lift? My man is bringing the car round. In fact, he should be here.
Oh, no, thank you. I like to walk after communicating.
Sir Allington's motor car is at the door, madam.
Didn't I say so? Dermot, you will accompany me?
Oh, don't drag him away, Sir Allington. I shall be a wallflower without him.
I only want to speak to him for a moment, Mrs. Eversley. He can join you at the Grafton.
Of course, Uncle.
I shall
If I
only
could
go
have
if
my
you go,
coat.
Dermot. Do you know the new quick-step reverse? I shall teach it to you. I've only just made it up, so no one else can possibly know it.
So you're telling Dermot he comes.
I don't believe a word of it. Wasn't that a thrilling evening? None of the spooks wanted to speak of poor little...
You're very troubled.
No, no.
Oh, don't look so stuffy, Sir Allington.
How did your mother die, Mrs. Trent?
It was never known.
There's a sickness here. I know it. I can feel it.
Go away. Go away from me. I'm all right.
I'm sorry, but I can't help feeling...
I will see that a check is sent to you, Mrs. Thompson.
Mrs. Trent, I can't help my feelings.
Good night, Mrs. Thompson.
Want the car to wait, but I have to say it won't take long.
No. No, the Grafton's only a step away.
Oh, good. All right, Charleston, good night to you. Where the devil have I put the key?
Good night, Sir Allington, Mr. Dermot.
Good night, Charleston.
Well, that's damned odd. I can swear I brought the key. It's not here. The bell rang. Johnson is sitting down. Confound it, Johnson. I never lose things.
No, sir. I'll have a thorough search for it, sir.
Yes, yes, but in the morning. You go to bed now. One last service, old chap. A couple of whiskies and sodas. You?
No, thank you, Uncle.
Oh, come along, Dermot. We've got plenty of time. The Grafton's only just round the corner.
Straight away, sir.
Ah, very well.
Come over by the fire. Have a warm. Filthy night.
What is it, Uncle?
You don't know?
Perhaps I'm not sure.
You're my only relative, Dermot. I have the right to ask. What does Mrs. Jack Trent mean to you? Oh, let me put it another way. Am I mistaken, or have you a certain tendresse for the girl? Well?
Jack Trent is my best friend.
That is no answer.
And I wish he'd never married her.
I dare say you'll find my views highly puritanical. Be that as it may, I must remind you that you are my heir.
Oh, there is no question of divorce. We haven't even spoken of it.
My dear chap, there is not, for reasons which I understand perhaps better than you. There have been women before for you. I can assure you there'll be women to come. Claire Trent is not for you.
Why were you there this evening? Oh, that ridiculous séance would not have lured you away from the comfort of your own hearthside. And yet I do know, perhaps better than you think, the reason for your presence there this evening.
You know?
I think so. Am I right when I say you were there in your professional capacity?
Yes. Though, of course, I could not have told you so myself. And yet I fear it would soon be common property.
Oh, Claire. I have known for so long that all was not well. If only I did.
Dermot, there was nothing you could have done.
Your mind is made up?
There's insanity in the family, on the mother's side.
The mother?
Sad, very sad case.
Oh, I can't believe it.
The evidence is conclusive. In such cases, the patient must be placed under restraint as soon as possible.
Oh, my God. But you can't. You can't lock somebody away for doing nothing.
Patients are only placed under restraint when their being at large would result in great danger to the community. Very great danger.
How great?
In all probability, homicidal mania. It was so in the mother's case.
I don't believe it.
What?
Not one word. Doctors make mistakes, everybody knows that. They're always so keen to be proved right in their own specialities.
Oh, damn it, don't be an
I tell
idiot.
you, I don't believe it. But even if I did, I don't care. I love Claire. I have always loved her. Since the first day I met her. She married my best friend, Jack. And now, if she will come away with me, I shall take her away. I shall guard her. I shall look after her. I shall care for her with love.
I forbid it. You hear?
I do not hear you, Uncle.
Understand me, damn it. If you do this shameful thing, it's the end between us. I shall withdraw my allowance to you. And I swear to you, you shall not receive a penny of my fortune after my death.
Do you think that will make any difference? We are talking about the woman I love, have always loved.
A woman who nevertheless...
You say one more word against her, and by God, I'll kill you.
That will do, Johnson. Put the tray down. Go to bed now.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
I'm sorry, Uncle. I should not have spoken to you in that way.
We'll say no more about it.
But Johnson...
Whatever Johnson thinks, he will keep to himself.
Of course, I can quite see from your point of view, you are right. But the idea that any monetary conditions can deter me is absurd. I think we've both said more than enough for one evening. Good night, Uncle.
Damn it.
There really is no good in arguing further. My mind is made up. Good night, Uncle.
Damn it. Is that you? You need help. I can help.
Mr. West!
Hello, Guido.
Nice to see you again.
I'm at a friend's party. They're expecting me.
Mrs. Eversley's on the dance floor, I know.
Thanks. Hello there.
Ah, there you are, Mr. West.
Have you seen Jack?
I've been pining for you.
Or Mrs. Trent?
I had to dance with Gary. No, Gary Benson. Don't go too far away.
Claire.
It's you.
Would you like to dance, Mrs. Trent?
You called me Claire just then.
Did I? I'm sorry. I do beg your pardon.
Please don't apologize. After all, we are old friends. I can't think where Jack can have got to. I was just looking for him. Yes, please, I would like to dance.
Sir Allington returned home at 5:20 to 11.
Where had he been?
He'd been dining with Mr. and Mrs. Jack Trent at their house in South Street.
And he returned alone?
No, he was accompanied by his nephew, Mr. Dermot West. But I'm sure...
Yes?
Oh, this has been a terrible shock. I'm sorry.
Of course. But you were saying, you're sure?
They were having some sort of argument.
Oh.
Sir Allington asked me to bring 2 whiskies and sodas. Very fond of a whiskey, last thing he is... was. Mr. Dermot said he would have one before going on to the Grafton Galleries. That's a dancing establishment, a nightclub in Wigmore Street, not 5 minutes away.
I know what it is.
Oh dear, this is very difficult. And it is just a turn of phrase, isn't it?
Just tell me what happened.
Well, when I returned with the whiskies, they were arguing, as I said. And I heard Mr. Dermot say, "You say one word against her, and I'll kill you." Something like that.
I see.
Of course, I don't know to what young lady he was referring.
Young lady?
Well, I assume so. And it was in the heat of the moment. I mean, we do say things.
Sir Allington is dead, Mr. Johnson. As no weapon has been found, we must assume it is murder we are dealing with.
I cannot believe it, Mr. Dermot.
What is his relationship to Sir Allington?
Sir Allington was his uncle.
So you said. I mean, were they close?
Oh, yes. Mr. Dermot was Sir Allington's only living relative.
I see. You're tired.
I want to say something to you. Is there somewhere where we can then talk? I want to speak to you.
Yes, of course. Over there.
It's nice here.
Yes.
Would you like you?
If I can help. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you, Claire.
Then go away. Don't see me leave us.
Go. But why?
I can't explain.
You must.
Oh, please do not make me.
I would not make you do anything against your will.
Dear Dermot.
There is something you wanted to say to me. Please don't send me away.
I must. You said you would do anything for me. Is it so much to ask?
No. Not if it will bring you happiness.
Happiness? You must go because I cannot say it.
I love you, Claire. I have tried not to let this happen because Jack is my friend. But if I am the cause, if only in part of your distress, then of course I will go. But I will not stop loving you.
Nor I you, my darling. That is why we must part. I think I knew, though I didn't dare to hope. It is too late, my darling, for us.
Not if we have courage.
We do not come into this story. There is something you do not know which alters everything.
You mean what my uncle thinks he knows? Please don't cry. I can't bear to see it. I'm here. I'm with you. I will look after you. I don't believe all that my uncle says. I never dared hope you could care for me. Now we will go away together.
No, don't you see? I couldn't, not now. It would be ugly. We cannot run away, not now. I tried to be brave and strong. I've tried, but you make me weak. Oh, please, please go. I'm trying to do what is right. If you really love me, then I beg of you, go.
Claire, please.
Damn it, it is the only way for us. Any other way would be unthinkable. You cannot help me. There is no future for us.
If I can ever be of any assistance.
Just go.
Mr. West, come and dance with me. I seem to have exhausted poor Gary.
Bad luck, old thing.
Oh, come along, Gary. Even an old poop can manage one more foxtrot.
This isn't a dance marathon, Violet.
Coach for Mr. West, please, Alice.
Hello, Dermot.
Sorry, Jack, old boy. I'm pushing off. I'm not really in the mood for dancing.
It's a rotten night out. Yep, let me help with that.
So you're leaving poor old Violet pining.
I'm sorry, Jack. I really don't feel like talking.
Well, damn it. At least you haven't got my worries.
Oh, seen Claire?
Yes, yes, she's in there somewhere. Captain?
What is it, Guido?
This gentleman's looking for Mr. West, Mr. Trent. He was in your party, I think.
Went home 5 or 10 minutes ago. Do I know you?
Inspector Verrill, Scotland Yard, sir.
What has happened?
We're looking for a Mr. Dermot West, ma'am.
Well, I can give you his address. What's up, Inspector?
Well, it's Sir Allington West, sir. I believe he dined with you tonight.
Has anything happened to him?
I'm afraid he's dead, ma'am.
How on earth? What the devil? Yes?
Mr. West?
No, Mr. West is not at home at present, sir. Can I be of any help?
And you are?
Milson, sir, Mr. West's man.
Oh, mind if we step inside, Milson?
Well, I would prefer if you...
Better than having us hanging about in the corridor, don't you think? You on your way out, Milson?
Just this minute got in, sir.
Take a look around, Corley.
Right, sir.
You don't mind?
Do you have a warrant?
Soon get one. Just got in, you say?
Yes. I've been out celebrating the parents' golden wedding, you know.
Oh, yes. That's very nice.
What exactly is going on, Inspector?
Oh, just a few inquiries, Mr.
Milson. About what?
When are you expecting Mr. West back?
Not for some considerable time, sir. You would probably find him at the Grafton Galleries.
Someone's been at the whiskey recently and smoked a cigarette.
While the cat's away.
I don't know what you're implying.
Of course not. All right, Corley.
Right, sir.
We've been to the Grafton Galleries. He's already left there.
Look, Inspector, aren't you being a little overzealous? Whatever my master is accused of, I am sure it cannot be serious.
He isn't accused of anything. We just want to ask him a few questions.
About what?
The sudden and unexpected death of his uncle, Sir Allington West.
What? How?
Inspector,
Yes?
can you come in here, sir?
this Mr. West's revolver?
No. I mean, I don't know. Well, of course it isn't. Mr. West doesn't own a revolver.
Then how do you suppose it got into his chest of drawers?
I have no idea.
Very loyal, Milson. I suggest that your master's already been home and hidden it here.
Well, if it's in his own chest of drawers, it's hardly hidden, is it?
True. You wait here, Corley. I'll get this down to the laboratory. If Mr. West returns, you will, of course, apprehend him.
Very good, sir.
Inspector, how did my master's uncle, how did Sir Allington die?
He was shot, sir. One shot from a revolver, clean through the forehead.
I see.
I don't need to say this, I'm sure, but you'll wait here with the constable till such time as your master either returns or is apprehended elsewhere.
Does that mean I'm under arrest?
No, just helping the police with their inquiries.
Bit of a shock for you.
Yes, I can hardly believe it.
I wouldn't say no to a cup of tea.
Ah. Oh, yes, of course, sir.
Thank you for that, sir. You can never tell with some people, you know. Sir Allington's man actually heard your master threaten to kill him.
Ah, yes, but that was, I mean, people say things, don't they?
Yes.
Still foggy.
Pretty thick. Nice, Mayfair. Nice class of person.
Oh, apparently not.
Oh. Some of the very top people commit murder, you know. I was just going off duty when this happened.
Oh, so, you were expected home, were you?
Part of the hazards.
Is there anyone you would care to telephone?
Who do you think I am?
Well, I'm sure Mr. West wouldn't mind.
No, that's not what I meant. If I could just call the station, ask someone to take a message round to the missus. She worries.
The telephone is in the hall.
I do know. Bit of an expert at noting things. Oh, thank you.
It's all right, old boy, it's me. Jack. I came to warn you the police are looking for you.
I know they've already been.
Damn. I wanted to get to you first.
It's all right, I've given them the slip, but not for long.
Well, come on, then.
Who could have done it? And why? Why kill poor old Allington? And why plant the gun on me? I just don't understand any of it.
Nor do I, old son. But at least being here will buy us some time. We've got to put our heads together and work it out.
Yes. Dear Jack, where would I be without you?
I'm just glad I'm able to help.
You don't think that I...
Oh, of course not, old chap. That doesn't even need saying.
No. No, I do know. Jack, I'm terribly afraid for all of us. Where is Claire?
Claire? Oh, she's gone home with Violet. Very upset by it all. Good old Violet. She'll look after her.
My God, I'm so terribly sorry.
Sorry.
Uncle Allington told me.
Told you?
About Claire. About her condition. I'm so desperately sorry. You know, I should have stayed there and faced it out with the police, but you see, I panicked for a terrible moment. I thought perhaps Claire had...
Claire?
Yes. Well, don't you see? She would want Allington dead because Allington knew. Oh, my God, I can't even now bring myself to believe it. What is it, Jack?
That seance. I was just remembering that ridiculous seance. Don't go home. Don't go home. Meant for Sir Allington, I suppose.
Or me. It would have been safer for me not to have gone home.
Yes. Dermot, old son, I'm afraid you're done for.
Jack, what do you do?
Ringing Scotland Yard, of course. Tell them you're here, safe and sound, under lock and key. The door's locked. You can't get away. I have the key. That other door leads to Claire's room, and I promise you it'll be locked on the other side.
I did not kill my uncle. You know that. And you probably suspect who did, but this is no way to protect her.
I want to show you something. She's afraid of me, you see. Poor, beautiful Claire. Been afraid of me for a long time. That's why she sent for your uncle, that famous helper of... what is it Violet calls them? Loonies? And he won't be helping them anymore. Look at it, Dermot. Did you ever see such a beautiful knife? She always knows when I'm thinking of it. I'm saving it for her.
Not Claire, but you. It was you my uncle came to observe. You.
No, that knife isn't for you. And contrary to what you might be thinking, this gun did not kill Allington. But the one in your drawer did. Both of you. 2 birds. What a damn clever plot. You must admit it, old chap. I took his latchkey, and your own. Slipped away while I was parking the car. First, Allington, then onto your flat, back to the dance. So easy. I returned your key to you when we said goodnight. You didn't know.
But why? Why?
He wanted to shut me up. Lock me away. That's why he was here tonight, but I'm not ill. It's her. She wants you, you know? But the law wouldn't let her have you. If I'd been shut away, she still wouldn't have been free. But never mind, Dermot, old chap. I'm not mad, so the problem won't arise. And you are going to hang for the death of your uncle. It's all so beautiful. And that knife is for her. Later. It's all so good. Well, you must see how brilliant it is. Well...
That message was meant for you too, old boy.
Message?
You shouldn't have come home either. That was your mistake. You should have taken me somewhere else. Behind you, Jack.
Damn it!
Keep her back, Inspector! Keep her back, Inspector!
Do it!